Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. Hello, Maurice in the chat room. How are you today, tonight, this evening? Hope you're all doing well. So I didn't have, and I still don't. Well, I do. I didn't have much of a plan for tonight. So I did put out a tweet earlier to see if anyone had any ideas on what to work on tonight. And the one that stuck out was upgrading or migrating the Visual Studio extension for nothing to unbox. No, I don't have anything to unbox. No, Maurice, sorry. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. No, I don't have anything to unbox tonight, unfortunately. I haven't had any new goodies arrive, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so Nils in the chat room there. Nils suggested via a Slack conversation that we look at migrating the Visual Studio extension for Cake to use Visual Studio 2022. So I was like, well, that's just a silly idea. There's no way that we're going to get that done on a stream. But I went, just before the stream started, I went and at least installed Visual Studio 2022 because I didn't have it installed before. So I thought, we'll give it a try. So in this issue that Nils created, there is a helpful document that walks us through the entire process of what we need to do in order to migrate to Visual Studio 2022. So I thought we'll give it a try, see how far we get, and we can stumble our way through this help document and see where it takes us. So one of the main things about Visual Studio 2022, my understanding, is that it's now a 64-bit application. So how an extension that worked or was targeted for an earlier version of 2022 won't work in anything newer. So what we actually need to do is we actually need to create two V6 files. One that targets 2019 and earlier, and one that targets 2022 and later. And reading through this document, I had a very brief skim of it before we came on the stream. At the minute, when you're publishing, the recommendation is to publish two different V6s. So there's one that is, here's Cake for 2019 and earlier, and here's Cake for 2022 and later. So there's two separate V6s. Now, what they do say is that the gallery will be updated to support a single ID that has two V6s behind it, and then you'll get the right one based on whether the request is coming from 2019 and earlier or 2022 and later. So there's a bit of work to do, but I went and proved to myself. So this is 2022. I went up to extensions and I went to manage extensions, and I did do a search for Cake to see if it would turn up, and kind of as expected, it doesn't turn up. So it's not there, right? So there's work to be done to get it into there. So reading through this document, now I'm assuming, Nils, that you haven't done this before. So this will be a new experience for all of us. But let's get started. So this is issue 133. So let's do, I think there's a develop branch. So git checkout -b 133 VS 2022 from the develop branch. Nils is saying, I have not started reading into it though. Okay, so you're about the same. You're probably a little bit ahead of me because I've only just read it within the last hour. And yeah, Marisa is saying it's about time that they supported 64-bit. So a lot of it, my understanding is a lot of it is just moved out of process. So it allows for obviously doing what it does today, but then having additional support for 64-bit stuff outside the main process. So it's a big leap forward, yes. So the first thing that it told us to do is we had to modernize our V6 project. So this was basically move away from packages.config file to using package reference. I'll maybe bump the size of this just a little bit. So we already had this. So our V6 project was already using package references. So there's nothing to do in this respect. Now what it wants us to do is it wants us to move to using a shared project. So as of right now, if we were to look at the main Cake.Visual Studio project, everything is contained within a single project, which is the V6 project. So what it wants us to do is it wants us to move all of this code into a shared project. And then when we add a new V6 project to the solution, we can reference the shared code from both the Visual Studio 2019 and earlier V6, and then the Visual Studio 2022 V6 and later. So we end up with two V6s using the same shared code base. So it's just compiled for different targets. So that's what we need to do. So it walks us through the process of, and then what's left in the V6 projects is literally just the manifest file. So if we look at our project just now, we have the source extension manifest file, and this is what controls what versions of Visual Studio this extension is going to be built for. So we need a new one of those in a new V6 project, pointing at the same shared project, and everything compiles and everything just works. And yeah, it does sound easy, doesn't it, Nils? So that's we've got an hour and 51 minutes. We'll see how far we get. let's see how far we get. So as a starting point for this project, for this document, we'll assume that your V6 project targets it does, and that your extension, and you want your extension to work on 2022. That's exactly what we want. All of these steps can be completed in Visual Studio 2019. If you haven't already done so, modernize your project. So that was the updating to use package references, which we already had. And we need to add a new shared project to the solution. So if we come over here and we go to the solution and we say add new project, and then if I search in here for shared, what hopefully should appear is a shared project of type C#. So we're going to click on that one, and let's do it in the context. So cake.visualstudio.shared, let's call it that. Naming's hard, but let's go with that. Cake. Got a capital I there. Let's make that a lowercase I. Cake.visualstudio.shared. Okay. And then with that done, add a new project, add a reference from each VS SDK referencing project to its shared project counterpart. So any project that we reference the Visual Studio SDK, we need to add a reference to that shared project. So the other ones in here, I don't believe we have any references, or not to the SDK anyway. Or do we? Maybe we do. I'm maybe going to leave the templates out just now. Visual Studio Core Utility. Where does that go to? Where does this go to? This goes into... I'm tempted to say we can leave them as well, but that does have a reference into the VS SDK folder. So we'll come back to those, right? So what we want to do is we want to add a reference to the new shared project that we have. So that's within projects, shared projects, this one, and click OK. Okay. So Cake.Visual Studio now has a reference to Cake.VisualStudio.shared. Move all the source code, including .cs and .resx files, from each VS SDK referencing project to its shared project counterpart leaving the source.extension.v6 manifest file in the v6 project. Okay, so adornments has got a bunch of C# in it, so I'm going to pick that up and pop it in there in the hope that that's just going to move it. Okay, that copied it, which wasn't a move. So let's delete that then. Classifier, languages, that's a bunch of C#. I'm going to pick that up and put it into here as well. And then, assuming that that's done, let's delete this one. Okay. Configuration has got a bunch of C# in it too. Move this over here and then delete this. This is simple so far. I think anyone could have done this. Let's move the content type over there. The editor folder has a bunch of C#. Put this into here. Delete that one also. Helpers, bunch of helpers over here. Delete. Menus. Got a resources folder that doesn't have anything in it, but a bunch of CS files. So let's move that over here also. And let's delete that. Resources. Now, didn't say anything about resource files, but I think it does later. So let's leave those. Snippets are they're not C# files, so we're going to leave that. Task runner, I'm going to put this into here, and I'm going to delete that. The C# that is the cake package, take that out. And then what we're left with is a VSCT file, the manifest file, package def, and the icon files manifest. So we've moved all of the C# files over. So let's see what it leave the source in the V6 project. Metadata files, release notes, license, icons, and so on, and the VSCT files should be moved to a shared directory and added as linked files to the V6 project. Okay, we can do that. So if we go over to here and well, it's right place. So let's close this down a second, save all that, and then let's at the very least put this into the right folder, which is in here. That's then going to break, so we'll fix the link. Could have done that directly in the solution file, but we'll just open it and re-add it. So recent projects and solutions is this one. Now it's going to say it couldn't find that one, which is fine. So let's remove it and let's re-add it. So add existing project that is cake vs source visuals. Oh, I see the problem. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to. We've got a little bit of tinkering to do with the. Got a little bit of tinkering to do with the layout folder. Hello Kim, how's it going? I think I've broken the reference to the CS proj file. Might have to go into Visual Studio Code to fix this, unfortunately. So let's open this in Visual Studio Code. So Kim, we've taken the bold decision to attempt to get the cake extension for Visual Studio working in Visual Studio 2022. But I've just broken stuff. So I think I'm going to want to make this right as well. So let's go new folder, cake.visual studio. And then in here, let's put all of that cake.visual studio goodness. Packages. What was packages? That wasn't referenced anywhere. Not that I could see anyway. Good luck, thanks. Might need it. So resources, snippets, all of these things I believe existed. Not all of this stuff actually. This in here. And let's... Okay, so that's going to be completely broken now. But let's see if we can go in here and find the reference to the shared project. Project is going to be, that should now be at the right place. So my solution's still going to be broken because it's not going to be able to find. Maurice, I have just broken stuff. Good. You're in good company. The question was, could name it 2019. I think we will come to that. Yes, I think so. I think you're right. I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to add in and add it back in again. Yeah, so all the work just now, Maurice, as per the article, is that all the work at the minute can be done in 2019 because it says it can. That was like one of the first things it said on the article. And then we can test it in 2022 that I've now got installed. So everything. So now it shouldn't be broken. If I do a build here, I don't think we should have anything broken. Because everything that was sugar could not copy. Oh, I've broken a bunch of stuff, haven't I? Oh, that's part of the build process, though. No, that's part of the build process, which we will have broken because we've now just moved a bunch of stuff around. But I think, if I recall correctly, one of the things that we do is that we download the nutkegs at runtime and then reference them within the projects. So where does that happen? Oh, that's in one of these, isn't it? Struggling to remember where that happens. But if I search for 0.38.5, then yeah, we download that as part of the execution of the build.cake file, and then we reference those within the contents folder in a nutkegs folder. So that's going to be broken, but let's see what we can do here. So this is task download nutkegs. So if we go into here and do build.ps1 target equals download nutkegs. Let's see if we can get those things downloaded. So at least the build works. I probably should have built and made sure it was building before we did anything else, but lesson learned. Download nutkegs. So that hopefully should have created a nutkegs folder with those things in it, and it did. but this is still going to be broken because it's going to be looking in a folder not high enough. So if we go back to Visual Studio Code and do that search again, then I think what we need to do is to do, not that, we need to do this. Copy, paste, 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 paste. We probably need to update all of these at some point as well, because we'd probably want these to be updated to the latest version. All I've done is change the paths to where those nupkegs are located. And it's building again. Output. Did it work? I think one failed, but I'm not seeing in solution. Output. Rebuild. v6util.exe exited with code something. What does that mean? Unhandled exception, file not found, could not find file v6 source license. Well, that's probably because it's not in that folder now either. So src license. I'll get there. There. I think that wants to be a ... as well. Okay, let's see if that gets us any closer. Output. Build succeeded. Okay, so we haven't broken anything. We've got a new shared project that includes all the C# code. And where we got to within our little article was any metadata files should be moved to a shared directory and added as linked files to the V6 project. So everything else. So we've now got our source folder that contains that. So I'm going to create a new folder up here called, I'm going to be imaginative and I'm going to call it shared. And what it wanted us to do is any files that are metadata files that need to be shared between the projects, we need to move them into that folder and then link them. So if we go in at GitHub, organizations, cake build, cake vs, source, this one, then anything that is, so this snippets folder, I think all of that wants to go into this shared folder. I'm going to pick that up, I'm going to put it into here. Resources, I'm going to pick that up and put it into here. Properties is, I'm going to leave that, I think. Packages, I'm not sure what that is. These files exist on the file system, but they're not being referenced anywhere. So I'm going to say that we don't want those. And then it said anything that is a VSCT file needs to come over as well. So file icons image manifest. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to put this over here. Now it said anything. Now it said resexes needed to be in the shared project. I think these ones need to be in the shared project. So if we come back to this one and we say that isn't used either. Okay. Source extension. I'm not seeing those being, unless it's in here. Oh, it's in there, look. Oh, that's the V6 manifest. So we're not playing with that one. So those ones stay. Template report.xml. I'm not seeing that being referenced either. So that one can come out. Now it said so it says the VSCT files should be referenced directly, but we've got a VSCT file that has a C# file behind it. So what does one do with that? What do we have in there? Because I want to put that into the shared project because it's a C# file, but that's generated from a tool. Okay, so we do what? So we reference that. That doesn't help. Does the VSCT file go? You would leave the CS file where? In the as in move the VSCT file into the metadata folder and link it from there and hope that the CS file gets generated, or should we move the CS file into the shared project and what do we do? Okay, I've forgotten what I said. Move the VSCT file to the metadata folder and then what, delete the CS file? Or because we need the CS file, don't we? Was it not Matt Lacey's extension that generates it for us? I can't remember. But okay, we need to put this into the metadata folder. Leave it where it is. Okay, fine. So I'm going to leave that there. That leaves the V6 manifest file and the associated things here. app.config. Are we referencing the app.config file anywhere? So it is being referenced. Does it have anything in it though? Oh, binding redirects. Okay, let's leave that in play as well. Let's leave that in this project. Okay, so having done that, we need to then, oh no, Nils was suggesting that we change the name of that folder to be not shared, but metadata. And he was suggesting I put that into the source folder. So in the source folder, we've now got metadata. So what we need to do is we need to add existing item in the metadata folder that is the resources, and I'm going to do all of these, and I'm going to say add as link. Of course it can't do that because it's already got ones in it, so let's just do a sanity check that what I've got in this folder is what I've got there. So we've got a cake icon, cake file, icon, the license is already referenced, menu icons. What's this pxf file? I don't know what the pxf file is. So let's take these three out and these three out, and then let's add them back in. So add existing item, metadata, resources, all files, these four, add as link, and then add existing item, and then this one and this one, add as link. Okay, then my snippets, I have cake, 2 snippets in there, so I can delete those ones and then add existing item, up a level, snippets, cake, snippets, add as link, and then in my C# folder I've got 2 files. This one, let's delete those, add existing item, C#, add as link, and then package def file. So add existing item, package def, add as link. Okay, that's those ones. And then I've got 2 files here. It's an encryption key. Okay, do we need it? I genuinely don't know. Package icons, image manifest, and icons package def. So that's in here. Add existing item, up a level, this one and this one. Add as link. Okay. So then this one has a, well, we deleted that because we moved it. But if I delete that and then add existing item, which is this, add as link, hopefully that will just slot in there. I maybe move it under here. No. Down here. No. There was magic happening there before, so I don't really know what's going on there. Now if I delete that, that's going to delete the CS file, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's do this one, add as link. Ooh, it put it back in again. Okay. Build again. Invalid regex. The source ICO. So the source extension regex must be referencing that ICO file, and we've just broken it. So let's do a wee search here for source.extension.ico, and let's see where it's being referenced from. I wonder if I just need to modify the CS proj file slightly. If I were to go in here, do this, can we perhaps manipulate it to go back to where it was? So in here, if I do a search in here for source.extension.ico, I wonder if this is what's missing. Copy. This is a guess. Content include, link is to there. But if I do that, what does that do in here? It doesn't do anything. Dependent upon. I want this thing to appear in there where it was before. Next. Dependent upon. Oh, hold on. No, that is still going to be the same, isn't it? Copy. On there. So the regex works. Oh, hold on. The dependent upon has worked there. But the dependent upon that I created, which is this one, doesn't work. Is that because it's a link? Well, let's. Invalid. Could not find the file. Source extension.ico. Well, let's not stumble our way through that. So if I put this back into here then and remove it from there, back into here, let's remove that again and then add existing item. Files, Michael. You're in the right place, Adil, yes. Join the club. And then this one. If I come back in here. Why is that not refreshed? There we go. Source extension.ico is dependent upon this guy. Copy that again, and then do .ico, this one, and then content, and on back into Visual Studio Code, reload all, and then that's back to where it was. Build, build, build. Hey Adil, I thought this was the git push-f club. This is the let's break stuff corner, and git blame Maurice, absolutely. Okay, so haven't broken anything. It says I haven't broken anything. The build is still succeeding. So if we go back to our article, for metadata files, set build action to content to include in the V6 project. Include in V6. For metadata files, set build action to content. So all of these things need to be properties. I'm going to move you down to here to be build action content, which they are. That's content, 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 content. Okay, good. Oh. No, I'm going to set this to be content 2. Set this to be content. 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 Didn't say anything about. Okay. I'm going to leave this I'm going to leave the manifest in the package defs. Okay. And then for this, it wants it set it to be. That's not an option, what it was telling us to do there. For the VSCT files, set build action to VSC to compile and don't include in V6. Include in V6 false. And then in here, we want to set it to be that. Property is not valid. Okay. Visual Studio might complain that this setting is not supported, but you can manually change the build action by unloading the project and changing content to VSCT compile. Okay, so let's do what it says. Let's unload the project. Yep. Let's edit the project. VSCT, and we're going to change it from, no, not that one. We're going to change it from content to there, right? And then we're going to reload it and everything's going to work. Okay, fine. Rebuild. Build succeeded. Okay, happy days. Including V6 is false. Okay, fine. And then now we never set it to true on the metadatas. Let's go back to here and including V6. I'm going to say that we need that to be true then. Including V6 is true. Including V6 is true. 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 And then the snippets I'm going to say is true. True. I'm going to say true and true. Okay. See what that does. Okay, it's still succeeding. It's not failing. Build your project to confirm you have not introduced any new errors. Just done that. Your project is now ready to add Visual Studio 2022 support. Right, we're 49 minutes in. Okay. Add a new V6 project to your solution. Okay. So, solution, add new project, V6. V6 project for C#. Now, do we want an empty V6 project? Or do we want start with a template? Say, remove any source code that came with the template. Let's start with the empty one then, shall we? Let's start with the empty one. Next, what we're going to call it? Cake.visual studio. I can't type visual. Visual Studio. Does it give any recommendations as to what we call it? No. Visual Studio. I don't really want to call it 2022. Should I call it 20? Sure. Call it that. See what that does. Oh, that would have been a good idea. Maybe that might have been a better idea. But we're committed now. It's doing some stuff. So I'm going to close that because I'm going to assume that it's put it in the wrong place again. Back to here. I'm going to pick this up and put it into here. There we go. Okay, and then back into here. And we'll update the project to be in the right place. File, recent projects and solutions. This one. It's going to tell me it can't find it, which is fine. I'll delete it again. And then add existing project into this guy, into this guy. Okay, we've done that. Add the new V6 solution. This will be the project that targets Visual Studio 22. Remove any source code that came with the template, but keep the source.extension.v6 manifest file. So it has a source.extension.v6 manifest. Doesn't have any code because we made an empty project, so that's fine. On your new V6 project, add the shared project reference. So add reference to this one and say OK. Okay, happy days. Verify that the new V6 project builds properly. Build. I'm going to say that it doesn't build properly. The type or namespace compositions does not exist. Are you missing an assembly reference? Probably, and I think that's what this was telling us. Verify that the new V6 builds properly. You might need to add references to match your original V6 project to resolve any compiler errors. Okay. So, what references did this project have that this one doesn't have? So, system.componentModel would seem to be one of them. System.componentModel.composition. I'm going to close those out just now. So this is coming from, okay. What's the quickest way to add all of these? I don't necessarily want to have to go through them all. System.componentModel.composition. Okay. Adornment. What's going on there? What I'm tempted to do would be to look for system.componentModel.composition. I have copied the old project and re-added that copy. Right? And then what? We're just updating the, well, okay. Copy. And in here, you want to put that, right? Discard. I know it's not what the docs say, but I'm assuming what the docs are going to tell us is just that we then want this one to target then we just want this one to target 2022. So I don't think we're doing anything necessarily wrong as such. The app.config file we don't have. I'm curious as to whether we need that app.config file. But for now, let's remove it. We don't have these things in here because we don't have them. So we could, I don't know what that source.extension.cs file does. Oh, I wonder. There was some magic that we added, I think, generates that file for us. So I think what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to borrow it and then tweak it. So it's missing all of these things. here, but we're going to want to change that. Yes. So what you're saying is, in this one, we want to change some stuff to say 2022. So this one, for example. Whoa, what happened there? So in this one, I'm going to say 2022. That's that one. This one is going to be, do that. 22. No, that's not 2022. Exactly that. Just the old school way, so I make sure that I don't break anything. So this is that one. We haven't updated that manifest yet, so that's fine. Add support. Do we want that? Does this ID need to be? I'm assuming that this needs to be something other than this. So I don't disagree with that, Marisa. I want to get through this process to see if it works, and then if it does, I'll come back and I think that's a good suggestion, but I don't want to do that right now. Good. Generate some copy. I'm going to work on the assumption that I want that ID to be different. So like const string, that's that one. That's that one. It's here. Wants to be that. This one is in. It's metadata. This one. Oh well, how does that work then? Because it told us to put the VSCT file into. It told us to put the VSCT file, which currently contains the package GUID, into the metadata folder and then reference it from there. So, and it looks like the add-in projects also reference that GUID as well. So, how would that work? I'm maybe going to undo that. I'm going to leave that the way it was just now. Back over here, this should have this one should have 2022, but everything else be the same. Okay, so let's do that. Let's build that. Let's see what that does. Okay, build succeeded. Happy days. Back over here. Verify that the new V6 project builds properly, and it does. For Manage VS Extensions, update your package references from 16.x or earlier to the 17.x versions. Okay, so that then becomes a question over what is the current. Have a wee look. So preview 2 is what we're at. So let's grab that and let's find in the CS proj file for our new one, which is here. Let's find any reference. So it's this one. Visual Studio. Must be that one as well, right? Microsoft Visual Studio SDK. Microsoft.visualstudio.sdk. Have a good enjoy the rest of your evening, Maurice. Thank you for hanging out with us. You see, this is a different one. Well, let's maybe do these. Let's do these in Visual Studio. See if we can't manage NuGet packages and say updates include pre-release. This one. Okay, update. Dang. Sure, do it. Okay, and let's do latest stable. I want the, oh, okay, update. Sure. I think I broke something. The type or namespace Visual Studio does not exist in the namespace Microsoft. Oh, we broke something. Broke a lot. It was all going so well. Update. In many cases, package IDs have changed. Refer to the package assembly mapping table. For C++ project, edit your manifest to reflect targeting Visual Studio 22. Okay, well, let's see if that helps. That might fix things. So let's do here, installation target. This one? No, this one. Sure. Wants to be this. Oh, we've got an extra quote there. And then I'm going to assume that that wants to be this. Sure. See what that does. Build. Less errors, still errors. The designer for this file will not expose the new product architecture element. Oh, have I got to put this in? XML editor, which you can access with installation target. Installation target. Okay. This product architecture element is critical. Visual Studio 2022 will not install your extension without it. Okay, fine. Make any other adjustments necessary in your source.extension file to match the one that targets 2019. It is critical that the ID of the V6 and the identity element of the manifest is identical. Okay, so that was what we were talking about before, I think. The ID. Oh no, hold on. It is critical that the ID of the V6 and the identity element of the manifest is identical for both extensions. So I'm going to assume that this ID here, copy, is I'm going to put that in there then. Yes, we did when I said need it. Yes. So cake for Visual Studio, copy, display name, cake for Visual Studio 2022, description. You know what? I'm going to just borrow all of this. Copy, description, boom. Okay, happy days. Oh, we haven't got our references. We need to put in our references to the snippets, etc. There's a bunch of other stuff in here that we don't have because we want it to work for other things. So let's borrow this and put it into, I know that would be in here, right? We would want this in here and in here, and this would be for Visual Studio Professional and Enterprise. Okay. Build. I feel we're still missing something, if I'm honest. Why has it not got any of these references? I don't like the sound of this next section. There are breaking API changes in Visual Studio 22 that may require changes to your code from when it ran on prior version. Review that document on tips to how to update your code for each of them. When adapting your code, we recommend the use of compilation, conditional compilation. Your code can continue to support 2022. Fine. C# techniques. You can use a preprocessor directive if blah. Fine. Fine. We may have to do things along that line if it comes to it. I think that was just an example. The debt 2, or oh no, you were talking about something else. So if we were to go into this one for this one, then this goes to the ENV DTE is not available in the 2022 project. Why not? So if we were to go into references and look at where does he come from? Am I missing a reference? ENVDT. Well, let's have a look at the breaking change, see if there's anything obvious in here. DTE. Oh, here we go. No. To mitigate most issues, use DTE2 from. Okay, so we're not. Yeah, I don't. That's not the error. It's a namespace issue. So try adding Microsoft.visualstudio.interop. Where does one find that? I'm assuming we don't have it yet. Microsoft.visualstudio.interop. No, don't have that yet. Confused. That is a package, okay. But where's the... We don't have a reference to that. We don't have a we don't have a reference to it. So I think it was just kidding us on. This process, creating the shared project, moving files around, it's all going really well, and then boom, it just doesn't work. And it's got a section that is fix the broken stuff. So the question becomes, is there anything that will help with generating this? Oh, sorry. and then allow. Weird. I don't know why I did that for you, Nils. Ban Nils, timeout. Can I like make you? Can I promote you to? I don't know how to like add you as a friend. I don't know if that helps, but so the suggestion then is to use this NuGet package. I mean, I'm willing to try it. Let's see if we can do this then. Install, browse. This one. Install. Sure. Go gadget. Ooh, okay. That definitely got the MDTE. So where would one get the package registration? Oh, that's not what I want to do. Oh, hold on. No, that's not the right one. PowerShell 5? No. Add reference to Microsoft Visual Studio Core Utility DLL. Microsoft Visual Studio Core Utility. I think we did have that one. Core Utility. Where does one find the Microsoft Visual Studio Core Utility DLL? So there is a... Oh. Should that be a package reference then, rather than... Because there is one of those. No, that's in all the add-in templates. I don't think we need to worry about those ones yet. We haven't worried about them so far. Adornment layer definition. Adornment layer definition, Visual Studio 2022. Contained within the Microsoft Visual Studio text UI WPF DLL package. There is. Did this exist before? It did. Okay. Let's try adding it and see what that does then. Sure. Okay. No. I thought it was going to work. You thinking that's going to work? Not convinced that installed, did it? Well, that didn't install. Why did that not install? That's maybe a good idea, yeah. Let me just see what this failed on. Hold on. Package blah 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 is not compatible with Net46. So where do we have Net46 being referenced? I did see a reference to Net46. This. How about we take that out? Oh, I was up, I don't know if you saw it, but it said 16 there for a second, and then it changed its mind. So let's go back and put this one in again. And you can get packages for this one. Let's see if we can install this now. Output. XUnit assert 4.1 is not compatible with Net40. So confused. Where is XUnit assert coming into play? That's on the template, isn't it? Oh, the nutkegs. But again, why do we care about that? Is it because we're including the nutkegs? That shouldn't matter, should it? I'm confused. Well, I think now it's complaining because we haven't specified the target framework. It's now, so rather than being, well, let's do 472 then. I think because we removed it, do undo the 4.7.2. That does. error list is. Okay. It's a bit of a guess, but let's see what it does. Let's put you back over here. All of that's still failing. Taking longer to fail now, though. It's also installing a bunch of other projects. Hold on. We're down to 2 errors. Schema validation error. Oh, you can barely see that. Schema validation error for blah blah extension manifest has invalid child item installation target in namespace. List of possible elements expected. I think it told us about that, didn't it? Oh, hold on. Well, maybe let's do a complete clean, and let's make sure. Never trust the clean. So in here, bin and obj. Fine. Okay. Then build it again. How much time have we got left? 31 minutes. Schema validation error for blah extension manifest. The HTTP schema blah 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 installation target element is not declared. Did I break something in the when I did this? Installation target. Let's just get charge. Right. Installation target ID. Blah blah blah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves then. Let's take that out and leave it with just the one. Oh, hold on. No. Now it's saying something different. The dependencies element is not declared, and it's not. So dependent element is not declared. Dependencies. Is there. Oh, hold on. 4, 5. Okay, let's. Okay. Build succeeded. Nils. Shall we ship it? So what have we got in our output folder? The bin, debug. Have we got a V6? We've got a V6. It is 8 point something in size. Bin, debug, V6. It's considerably bigger than the original V6. I don't know if that's good or bad, but how do we extensions, manage extensions? I can install it directly, can't I? I thought I could. Extensions. Oh, I need to set it up as a feed, don't I? How would I add an extension directly into here? Or just double click on it? Hold on. Let's double click on this guy, see what happens. I'm gonna try this. Hold on. V6 installer. Cake for Visual Studio 2022. Select the product you want to install. I want to install that in my 2022 preview. Install. Clicked it. I don't know what. Oh, there we go. Waiting for the polling processes to shut down. Okay. If you insist. Okay. Doing stuff. So what's the test? What's the acid test to see if it works? Well, we'll see if it appears as an entry in the extensions first of all. So extensions, manage extensions, installed. It's got an it's got an entry in there. Okay, file, new project, cake. Oh, I didn't find any cake stuff. I think that was one, wasn't it? File, new project, cake. Yeah, should have found some cake stuff. It doesn't have those. But I don't know if I've included all those things, so I'm okay with that not being there. What's the acid test for tools? It's build, isn't it? Build, cake build. File, new project, console application, C#, go for it. Sure. Do it. EM Hunter, want to become famous? No thanks. You're alright. On yourself though. No. Is anybody around that can block those? Or do I have to do it? How do I block them? Ban. There we go. Banned. Look at that. Boot the door. Ban. There we go. Right. Build. Oh, there's no cake build there either. I don't know if that's good. Build, cake build, install cake file. See, what I'm wondering is whether I'm still missing some stuff. So within the manifest previously, we would have had these things for templates and stuff. So I don't think we've got those. We need to add those in. And then the thing that puts them all together. We have the code and we have all of the configuration files, but I don't think we've stitched them all together. So what I mean by that is we would have had to Yeah, where we're referencing all of these package defs and stuff. I think we need to put them into our. I think we need to put them into. So if I were to do, how much time have I got left? Still got a little bit of time. So if we do copy this and put this into assets, and put this into here. That clearly didn't work. That clearly didn't have the end of that. Copy, paste, where that needs to be over there, that needs to be there. But then in order for those to work, I think we would need to have some of these dependencies in play. I think we would, let me see, let's back here, see if we can still build this. Assets element is not declared. I thought I had. Control Shift F, assets. When we sneaky peek at this asset, it thinks it's there. I come up to one. Yeah. All of that is exactly. All targets. There's only one at the minute. That's asset. Assets element is not declared. I think I'm on it something. Oh. Oh, it's going to take long. Back to here. Remove all of these then. Get it back to a point that it's building. Yes to all. Okay, build. New type. Type is Let's do meth component. Type is meth component, and the source is project in the current solution. Then it's the current project, so that's self. Do it. That look like it did before. Okay, fine. Save that. What does that do? Oh, now we're into some trouble. Missing partial modifier on declaration of type name V6. Another partial declaration of this type exists. Okay. Should I delete? Oh, hold on. What's that guy? Where did you come from? Where did you come from? Where did you come from? How about I delete them both? Delete them both. We'll see if it'll generate it for us. No. So something generated it. What caused it to be generated? What caused it to be? But let's go into here and copy this guy again. Save the manifest from the designer. Okay. Metadata. I was going to update this anyway. Add support for cake build tool in Visual Studio 2022. Save. Oh, look at that. Okay. Okay. Build. Still telling me that the assets element is not declared. Where's the delete? Fine. Still telling me the assets element is not declared. Fine. Remove it. Build. Extension could not be found. Please make sure the extension has been installed. I think I've broken stuff. Build. Okay. Back to the beginning. So, new meth component, source, project itself, do it. Save, build. Shut up. Rebuild. don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Copy. It's obviously not going to work. The demo project references Microsoft VSDK build tools. I don't know. Microsoft.vsSDK.build. No, doesn't. You get back. Sure, put it in. Sure. It installed it. Clean solution. Rebuild. Ooh. Why would that make a difference? Why would that make a difference? Can I just put all of these in now? Copy. Paste. Save. Clean. Rebuild. The get deployment path from V6 manifest task failed unexpectedly. 16.0 does not have an implementation. Is there some sort of reference in there? Doesn't like something that we put in there. Okay, let's delete some of these other ones. Delete some of these, leaving just the item template, project templates. Start small. Clean. I mean, I'm sort of fumbling in the dark here, let's be honest, because we're in a realm of the whole Visual Studio Extension ecosystem that I don't fully understand. But that one, so if we do tools, manage extensions, installed, if we uninstall this one, close, close, uninstall. Oh no, there's nothing to apologize for. I mean, it's something I would obviously want to know more about. I'm just, this was the original version of this was created by Alistair. He figured out all the ins and outs in terms of what could and couldn't be done. So having added in those project templates, I wonder if I were to go back and have a look at the output folder and this V6 that has just been created. It's smaller now. Curious. If I double click on this one now, having added in those project templates, I wonder if we'll see them now in the extension. Sure. If this worked, we'll class this as a small win, and we'll finish it there for tonight because getting close to the end of the evening now. Okay, so it installed. Open up the preview of Visual Studio 2022 and see what we get. So if that worked, if we do File, New Project, I see projects there with cake in it. I see cake. Let's do a cake module and create one. What does it do? It's got stuff in it. Reverse log, module, got references, got a reference to the cake.core, which is that. Happy days. So one of these ones that I tried to add in was causing that error. So there's obviously more stuff that we need to figure out here, but in principle, I think it's there. It's semi-functional. It still won't have the build cake build because that's going to be one of these things. One of these icons with the snippets or the menus. Yeah. Or I wonder. I suspect it might be this one. That would contain the menu structure. So yeah, progress being made though. So as a recap before I sign off for the night, what we've been working on today is to try to uplift the existing Cake extension for Visual Studio to work in Visual Studio 2022 or 2022. We've hacked on it following the instructions that Nils had originally found, which was for updating an extension to 2022. We followed through all of this. We got it to a point where it compiles at least, and we went through the process of making a shared project, referencing that shared project from both our original Cake.Visual Studio extension project and then the new one, which is specifically for 2022. Naming is hard, so it probably won't be called 2022 here. But then what we then did is we compiled that, referenced it, installed it into my running instance of 2022, and we've been able to create a Cake module project using the template that existed within that project structure. So that project's woefully out of date now because it's still using a package reference, packages.config file, rather than a package references within the CS proj file. So there's work to be done to update the templates, but that's a bigger discussion in terms of how we maintain those templates across Visual Studio for Cake for Visual Studio Code, Cake for Rider, Cake for Visual Studio full version. That's a much bigger story that we need to think about. But for now, it's at least semi-functional. Need to dig into why I was getting some errors when trying to add in some of the other portions of this extension. But yeah, happy with that. Thank you for the prod, Nils, to get this at least semi-functional. There's still work to be done, but happy with that. I'll need to go through these 142 changes and get them committed or start a PR, but not going to do that tonight because I'm signing off for the evening. But I'm going to say that I'm picking this up, and this would ultimately go into the next milestone, which is this one, I think. And then, yeah, we'll have to go through what is and isn't being included into this release. A job for a different day, though. But for now, that's all I've got. I might follow up with this during the week, Nils, if I get a second. So I might ping you on the old Slack if there are questions, and we can go from there. But for now, thank you to everyone who was hanging out tonight. Appreciate it as always. But for now, that's me done. So have a good evening, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you very much. Bye bye.